Did you have Wembanyama and Britney Spears on your summer league bingo card in any way, shape, or form coming into Las Vegas?
I did not. That was a fairly wild story to emerge, and to have Victor Wembanyama have to be asked about that, right after his first practice at summer league was wild. I mean, it became a global story. The video, I'm sure TMZ paid a fortune for. Pretty crazy over the last couple of days there.
Did anybody have the temerity to ask this question of Greg Popovich for his reaction? Anybody at all?
As far as I know, Pop hasn't done any kind of formal media. And look, I've done interviews with Pop sometimes over the years, and I would not ask that question, and I don't plan on someday asking that question.
So we're just going to leave it there and just move on with the actual basketball that's going on there. And in terms of that, I mean, it was a very NFL overreaction type moment to see the way Wembanyama played in his first game and extrapolate that to anything. And then Sunday night, obviously, he looked more like the first overall pick in the draft. How was that part of the conversation from your perspective over the weekend in Vegas, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, nobody that's been around the game reacted at all to Wembanyama's play in the opener. In fact, most people kind of focused on the positives that they saw. The obvious defensive presence. I mean, he had 5 blocks in that game. He blocked a three-pointer. He blocked a bunch of shots at the rim. He altered, probably just as many at the rim. I mean, he is going to be, maybe as soon as next season, an all-defensive team player. Like, he's that good. He's not vulnerable on pick and rolls in the way that most big men his size can be, and he's just a towering presence in the middle. He's going to be great there. I also was impressed with his playmaking in that opener. I mean, he played off the dribble a lot, and he wasn't just forcing shots. He was looking for teammates. He had some nice shovel pass. Did some nice things there that opened my eyes a little bit. I mean, the rustiness, you get the getting used to the NBA game after playing a lifetime of FIBA basketball. You get what referees will allow in today's in the NBA. You're gonna have to learn that on the fly. But anyone that thought that the game was the game will be too strong for him, like the guy played in the French leagues with 30-year-old men. Like he came the same route that Tony Parker came. When he was playing at a young age. So I'm not worried at all about Wembanyama's ability not just to settle in quickly, but to dominate, very early in his pro career.
Is this the first time you laid eyes on him in person? Saw him in the flesh, Chris?
In the flesh, yeah. I watched the games he had in Vegas,
sure,
of course, and have seen a lot more. But yeah, he's impossibly long. I mean, that 8-foot wingspan is legit. He's just a physical specimen out there, and to be able to do some of the things that he's able to do is pretty remarkable. I mean, I think when you get, there are two things when you get into the NBA season that he's going to have to adjust to. One is, guys are not going to challenge him softly. Like, they're going to drive into his chest. Like, they're going to make him be physical until he proves he can be, which may take a couple of years before his body starts to fill out. He's only 19 years old. And, the other thing is that when, he has a little bit of flair to his game and likes to play off the dribble. That's fine in summer league, and it was fine certainly playing overseas. But I mean, that ball takes a long time, Rich, to hit the ground when he's dribbling. He's just really tall, and you're going to see good defensive players able to reach in, do some things that disrupt him, and probably make him into something of a turnover machine, early in his career. So he's going to have to figure out, that he'll probably figure out early on that just collecting the ball at the top of the key and playing off the dribble. That's going to be a challenge for someone his size.
What do you make of the 5-year deal Greg Popovich signed and was announced over the weekend as well? What's your thoughts there?
A little surprised at the length of it. My understanding, too, is that it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be the coach for the next 5 years. He's also the president of basketball operations there, and he could ascend into that front office role seemingly at any time. But, every somebody I talk to about Pop, they don't get any impression that he's in any rush to retire. In fact, last year you would think that it would be something of a draining experience. For Pop, it was kind of invigorating, to coach young guys, not worry about wins and losses, and to just notice incremental improvement from the players that he was coaching. Now he gets his hands on, the greatest prospect since LeBron, and according to some people, the greatest prospect ever. And, he's going to have a chance to develop, this next superstar. And, you can't, when you're Pop's age, you can't predict anything, as far as how, if he's going to be able to, do the things required of being an NBA head coach, the rigors of being an NBA head coach. But for now, Pop's out here in summer league. He seems energetic. I don't get any sense that retirement is anywhere close for Greg Popovich.
Well, seeing the 5-year deal, I thought of again, because I'm so, football centric, Bruce Arians, when he retired. Now, there's always rumors that Brady and him weren't getting along or all that sort of stuff. But he said the reason why he stepped away when he did is he got to set up, the Buccaneers in the manner in which he felt comfortable, and he had his own guy picked out, right? And so the question is, I'm wondering if Popovich has that same thought process at some point, and who might get that golden ticket, even though you don't want to follow in the footsteps. You always want to be the guy after the guy. But if you've got Wembanyama and you've got the Popovich seal of approval, you talk about what an incredible gig, what a job. Who do you think, what do you got for me on that front as we're sitting here?
Yeah, it's a wide open field for who would replace him. Now, for the last few years, 4 or 5 years, there have been some strong candidates on that bench, younger candidates on that bench. You saw Will Hardy, who is an excellent head coach now in Utah. He was on that Spurs bench. Ime Udoka was on that Spurs bench. Becky Hammon was on that Spurs bench. So you had some in-house people. You still do in San Antonio, but Brett Brown is there. I don't know that he's looked at as the heir apparent necessarily to Greg Popovich. I think if and when he retires, and again, there's no indication that's
right.
coming anytime soon, but if and when he retires, I think you'll see kind of a national search, which may bring back someone from that Spurs pipeline, but it won't necessarily just be someone on that Spurs bench right now.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.